दुनिया को दायरा बनाने में बस इतना सा फर्क है। इतना कितना है? इतना है या इतना है? जो नापेगा वो जाने कि जहां धरती और आसमान मिलते हैं, नानकुर से दूर, अगर मगर शायद से दूर, वहां भी दोनों में फर्क बस इतना सा है। धरती और सातवें आसमान में फर्क बस इतना सा है। ये एक अंतर प्रेरणा है। ये हमारी, आपकी, हम सब की अंतर प्रेरणा है। एक कदम, एक छलांग, एक बाजी, एक गहरी सांस और एक ललकार खुली हवाओं में कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन फिजाओं के लिए, कि हाँ, मैं बना हूं उन ऊंचाइयों के लिए जो ऊंची तो बहुत है पर नामुमकिन भी नहीं, क्योंकि मुमकिन और नामुमकिन में बस इतना सा फर्क है। धूप छांव में फर्क बस इतना सा है। तो बस चलिए फ्रेंचाइज इंडिया के साथ ये फर्क मिटा देते हैं।
Good afternoon, friends. A very warm welcome to our Business Opportunity Over Chai. And this special edition Business Opportunity Over Chai will help you to understand the greatest business opportunities that we Franchise India specially brings for you. Business Opportunity Over Chai presented by management team of Franchise India, Mr. Gaurav Maria, Chairman at Franchise India Group, and Ms. Sonia Chaudhary, MD at Franchise India Brands Limited. Every day, 12 o'clock, we launch a new brand to explore new business opportunities. Today, we have invited a great brand, Snapkorp, next generation ultra modern chain of pod and capsule hotels. Podium is a modern hotel chain that specializes in capsule hotels. The company's vision is to create a cozy space for a creative and the young to share their vibe. Their product caters to a various set of people who shares a common idea of freedom, creativity. At the podium, they have super compact, ultra modern pods of creatives. To know more about this business opportunity, we have invited the team of Snapkorp, the co-founders of Snapkorp, Mr. Nilaksh, Mr. Mandeep, and Mr. Rehan Khan. Before inviting them over the stage, I would like to introduce the panelists. We have in the panel today Mr. Manoj and Mr. Balaji. They are our IFC partner, individual franchise partner, and Mr. Ashok, who consulted this project. Over to you, Team Snapcorp.
Great. Thank you, Harshika. And before I request the presentation to be given to our friends, I'd like to welcome the entire team of Snapcorp today, and also all our friends who have joined in listening us live also on YouTube. Friends, Snapcorp is a chain of podium hotels. They're based out of Bangalore. And also I'll start with giving a little introduction about the opportunity and also about the company Snapcorp. And then I'll request the management team to come and address before we start a formal presentation. So the entire team, friends of the Snapcorp management, Rehanji, Manishi, and Ilakshi, they're the co-founders, and they're a consortium of architects, interior and product designers, and also technology experts who are in the business of manufacturing. Right? So pod hotels or capsule hotels, as they are popularly called, they are a very big industry globally, as we see. And while it started in 1970s in Japan, but it has become very, very popular across the globe today. And if you see the growth in this industry has been tremendous. And this is because of a lot of travel and tourism, the growth also with solo travelers across the globe. But this industry is getting a very, very big response. And I would say it's the next generation of hotels, which is used both for leisure as well as business. And it also acts most effectively for travelers who are on the go. And Snapcorp, being technology experts, they have come up with a patented product who's creating these hospitality solution and these hospitality spaces for travelers, which can be put up in the vicinity of airports, railway stations, even IT corridors, tourist spots, even religious places for both leisure as well as utility. And there also sometimes, issue with the regulations and permissions around putting up structures, which the regular, hotel industry does. So which is difficult to procure in certain locations, which can be, I would say, sites like even hilly areas. There are some areas which are also defined as forest areas, mining sites. So these structures are easy to be pulled up even on a green field. And so I'll request if we can start with giving maybe a broader understanding and overview of the opportunity at large. And also I will request if our audience can get an understanding of, how we started this business. So over to you, Nilakshi.
Rehan.
Yeah. So hi, my name is Rehan. Thank you so much, Sonia, for the introduction. I am Rehan, and along with me is Nilaksh Mahajan and Manish Reddy.
Friends, I'll request you can raise your hand so the viewers can all see you.
So this is Nilaksh Mahajan. Can you?
Hello.
Yes,
Good morning.
absolutely. We can.
And this is Manish Reddy.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah. So we are the founders of Snapkorp, and all of us are industry experts. Nilaksh is a very prominent architect from Bangalore, has built millions of square feet of hotels, commercial properties and residences. Manish also is an industry expert. He's a prominent builder from Bangalore. Today we don't have, unfortunately, Grover. Mr. Grover is from the Taj Hotels in India. He's worked in Taj for 30 years at the top management level, built multiple Taj properties. So this is the primary team. So we have hoteliers, we have technology experts, we have architects and builders, and all of us have the domain knowledge to work on this kind of a project. We also operate, but within our team, we also operate a resort in Kerala, and all the learnings that we have accumulated from these experiences has led us to develop these products that I believe are going to be the next generation of hotels. And what we are seeing primarily today in the market is that there is a shift from the kind of people who used to book hotel rooms and who used to travel. After COVID, there's a huge shift in that process, right? And as the younger generation slowly takes over, they are very familiar with technology, and that is what is going to be the driver going forward. These young kids who are basically Generation Z and Alpha Gens, they are now slowly becoming, they've already now 50% of hotel bookings are done by this new generation. And as we go forward, this generation are the ones who are going to do most of the hotel bookings, right? And they are very familiar with technology, and hence we had to build all these different concepts into our product so that it can be easily adopted by this generation.
We'll share our screen.
Yeah, what we'll do is we will share a presentation, a small presentation. We'll go through that step by step, and then you'll understand what is the product that is on offer.
So,
can you see the presentation?
Yes, Riyaji, we can see the presentation.
Right. Okay. So go to the next slide. Yeah. So we are talking about Snapkorp, and we believe that the future of spaces is not going to be concrete-based systems. They're going to be lighter systems. In the 21st century, with all the new material inventions, we don't need to use very heavy structures which damage the environment to build hotels, right? And one of the big problems of building conventional hotels is it takes a lot of time, 3 years to 7 years sometimes, and your finance is stuck while you build those hotels. So there's a huge finance cost that is involved in building hotels. And in case the location is not doing well, even in spite of all the market research, you have no choice but to stay with that location because you can't move the hotel is built. This technology that we are talking, we are able to rapidly build. Maybe within 3 months we can set up the hotel. And if for some reason the location is not appropriate, we can move the entire hotel quickly within a few days to a new location. So that is the advantage of what we are talking. So we have built primarily 2 layers to this. One is the structure of the hotel room, which is a new technology which is called graphinated composite. which is the world's strongest material. It is 8 times stronger than steel, right? And it can be built in a factory, brought to site and installed. And then we have the tech layer, which is the layer for your entire hotel bookings and your entire operations and management of the hotel. So both these two layers together give you this Snapkorp opportunity. So as you can see in the screen, these are some of the products that we have developed, and these are different kind of hotels. But what we are launching currently are the Podium and the Podium Lux, which are hexagonal pod hotels. Yeah, I think we've spoken about who we are. Yeah. Yeah. So what happens with this system is that the entire hotel is built in a factory. So you're able to build it fast. You're able to maintain quality, and you just put it on a truck, bring it to site, and you can install it in as less as 24 hours. So within let's say 1 or 2 days, you are able to get your hotel operational, subject to, of course, the site being ready and all the services being ready on site. So what that means is you're able to rapidly, as soon as you invest money, you're able to immediately and very fast get your hotel up and running. Thereby, your revenue start immediately. You don't have to wait for 3 years, 4 years, 5 years for your revenues to start. Yeah. I would request Nilaksh, who's an architect, to give you the presentation of the product.
Hello. So I will take the journey from here in terms of the product what we are launching today. Now there are 2 versions of this, and the prime category is called Podium. Now Podium is a hotel chain which is very young in nature, trying to capture a certain audience, and also trying to give an experience which is current and which is required by the younger backpackers and travelers in this particular segment. Now, this is the kind of target audience for us, and this entire whole experience is based towards that. Like Mr. Rehan mentioned, that there is layer of technology and structure which provides the seamless experience to all the guys. Now, what you're seeing here is a system. Now, when we go into understanding the resort and its operations, the first process is the land. Now, this whole system is designed in such a way that you can set up a 20-room hotel in a land as less as about 8,000 square feet, which can also give you the flexibility to multiply to about 40 rooms if the location is doing extremely well. Now, this whole process of setting up this resort on an 8,000 square feet of land can happen in less than 3 months. What it comprises of is an experience where you can engage yourself in a work environment. You can communicate and form relationships with your fellow peers and things like that, because today the entire resort or hospitality industry is changed by meaning of communication. And people are expecting the luxury, but at the same time, how do they communicate with the people or the guests who are staying with them to make more meaningful relationships? So these are the kind of engagements what happen in the modern day chains. The spaces carved out are extremely young, are extremely functional, and very, very modern. The tagline, what we think is it's going to be playful, cheerful, and also relaxing at the same point. Now, another salient feature which we'll discuss a little more in detail is the layer of IoT. And the whole pod, once if you enter or check into the whole system, the whole pod can be customized to your own needs and demands of the guest. And this is enabled through another patented technology. What we have invented is a switch called Next Home, which is kind of a computer and lets you control the entire pod. Now, this does 2 jobs. One is from the guest side of it. Another side, it is going to also give analytical layer to the operator. So thereby, you will know each and every usage which happens inside the structure of Podium. This few things in terms of creating the vibe of the whole place. Now, as you can see here, this is the general lay of the entire chain of podium. What you can see is all the pods stacked on one side. This is the cafe which takes care of all the requirements of the guests who are staying here. Also gives you a very unique experience in a plaza-like setting, which can then develop as your congregation space. You can hold music events, you can hold interactive lectures and things like that, which can also become a part of the amenity of that particular space. So now this, as we discussed earlier, now this whole arrangement can be scaled both in a horizontal direction as well as in a vertical direction, giving you the flexibility starting from 20, can go up to 40, 60, depending upon the demand which that particular location wants, without having to expand on the land. Few of the look and feel of the product. And the entire design as such is done in such a way that it becomes a more inward looking experience. And once you are cast in a particular location, you have enough and more to look inside the property rather to be exploring outside. If there is explorable views, then of course the property can be designed in that particular way. This can come in two versions. We can have the property with the pool and things like that. And another amenities can be added, like the back of the pods can be becoming a digital screen and things like that, so that this area becomes as a more fun space for the guests. Now coming to the interiors of the pod, the pods are designed between 100 and 150 square feet. They give you a flexibility of a 2-bed accommodation. These entire systems in terms of beds, what you see are all automated, which means by a press of button, you can make the pod as a work environment and can shift it to a lounge environment, and therefore also towards the night can become your sleep pods. Everything has been carefully thought of. You have a working desk ledge here. You have a 2-bed system. You have a wardrobe space here, and you have a 3-fixture toilet. So you can see here, once the top bed is retracted, this becomes like a day space, and it can be used more in terms of a work pod where people can also engage their friends and things like that. These are the illustrations of the toilets. Now presenting the luxury version of the podium, which is called Podium Lux. Now this is particularly designed for postcard locations where you could be next to a river, next to sea, in mountains and things like that. So typically these are the demographics of spaces what we're looking at for Podium Lux. Now Podium Lux is a much wider, a much bigger experience in terms of the space itself. To give you an example, this space is particularly designed like 3 to 4 star category. Most of the European hotels are probably fitting into the square footage of 150 square feet. And that's where this space dynamics is designed. Now here, because of the location, you see at the ground level, there's a lawn space for this particular unit, and then for the upper pod, there is a deck space and things like that. Thereby giving you an experience of about 250 to 300 square feet per pod. The logic of scalability and expansion remains constant. In this particular pod lux, we will be looking at a 12,000 square feet of land where you can expand. You can start from 20 rooms and can expand up to about 40 or 50. Yeah, so these are all the different kind of experiences which guests can get once they check in into the pod hotel. And here we have a much more elaborate experience in terms of, again, pool and a digital screen. This can be options which can be built into the project. Now, coming into the interiors of it, you can see here this is pre-designed with a queen size bed. You have a larger work desk area. You have a proper wardrobe space here. And then you have a 4-fixture toilet here. So these will basically also be iconic structures. People would want to experience a different kind of living within spaces which are little more dynamic than our standard squarish or rectangular rooms. So advantages of our system is that we, by our technology, can bring the least time to revenue generation, which means we can be up and running at about 3 years, and that is achieved through 3 months, sorry, and this is achieved through accelerated construction. This will reduce your time to ROI, and the most important feature of our construction is we are a monocoque structure. Now, what do we mean by monocoque structure? Typically, all the construction processes, as we know, or panel constructions, you do a floor, you do a wall, and you do a ceiling. But in this particular dynamics, the whole hotel comes as a single mold, therefore avoiding any kind of joints or cracks and being extremely impervious to water and moisture. Moisture, as we know, is the deterrent for any construction material. Once we are extremely weatherproof, the structure will last much longer, and there will be very least maintenance opportunities on the master structure. Now we're coming to the user journey. I would request Mr. Rehan to take over from here. He will explain the IoT layer to understand the guest experience. Yeah, over to you, Rehan.
Yeah. As far as the technology is concerned, the primary problem with hotels is that you have peak times and you have non-peak times in terms of occupancy. Right? So people come in, you have holiday seasons where you have a lot of rush, and then you have non-peak seasons like the monsoons and other times when you don't have too much of rush. That creates a problem in terms of your operating costs, because you have to have enough staff even in non-peak times, because you cannot fire them in non-peak times and only expect them to work during peak times. Right? So therefore, a huge workforce causes a problem in terms of your financials. So what we have done is we have developed a very sophisticated booking system and an IoT layer, which gives you complete control as a franchisee. You can sit in one room and monitor the entire hotel with very few people on site. Yeah. So what we've done is we've developed a booking portal system, and we have signed up with 5 or 6 of OTAs, which include Airbnb and Booking.com and all these different OTA platforms. Once you come here and do a booking, what you will and you select your podium and you pay the money. Go to the next one. Yeah, you select your podium like this. You select which location and you select your room, and you book it and you pay your money. And what you will receive on your phone is an OTP, right? The OTP is actually your key. You'll receive an OTP like this, which is the key to your room. So all that you have to do is go to the hotel, type in that OTP, and you will have access to the hotel. So you don't need an elaborate reception system and all the infrastructure that's required typically in a conventional hotel to operate the podium or to get access to your podium. Yeah. And once you're inside, the same app will control your environment inside. You can put on your lights, put off your lights, air conditioning. All of that can be done by the guest. And as far as the franchisee is concerned, he will be able to monitor how long the lights are on, how long the air conditioner is on, how much water has been used, all of that. So from the check-in to checkout point, once you check out, you will get an entire report, which will tell you exactly what the cost of that particular stay of a guest is. So you will know how much electricity was utilized and what was the cost, how much water was utilized, what was the cost, and all these other analytical layers will be at your fingertips. So you are able to manage your costs very effectively, right? That is the most important advantage. For example, I'll give you another small example. If you look at the technology board that we have developed, that's this small switch that you can see in that thing, the plug that you can see, has been designed to accept every plug from the world in the entire world. So it's a US plug or a European plug or a Japanese plug or any plug in the world can fit into this socket.
And it's also 5 amp and 15 amp.
And yeah, and it can also take a 16 amp plug. It can also take a 5 amp plug. So what that means is typically when a guest comes in, let's say a backpacker or a foreigner or anybody comes in from different countries, they don't have the plugs that would fit in. So they'll call the reception. They will ask for an adapter, and then somebody from housekeeping has to store the adapter, pick it up, make a note of the adapter being supplied to the room, keep a track when the checkout happens, keep a track, go pick up the adapter and put it back into stores, right? So that's a lot of money unnecessary just because you don't have a socket system which accepts all the plugs. So with these kind of small things, we have taken care to make sure that none of these costs, none of these kind of unnecessary costs come onto the franchisee and the operation of the system. So this is the details to which we have gone to develop the entire product so that it is seamless and it is as low operating cost as possible. This makes it a very, very attractive investment. Yeah, so this is the presentation from our side. I would request Mr. Ashok to take over and explain the rest of the numbers and financials.
Over to you, Mr. Ashok.
Thank you, Mr. Rehan and entire team. I think it's a very beautiful presentation. I will share my screen and just go through some of the industry numbers and the opportunity that we are offering to our franchisee partners. So I will share my screen. Okay, so some of the basically we will look just recap from the discussion from the entire Snapkorp team. If you look at the problems, so they have identified the problems for the industry, what the industry is facing. So time-consuming construction, space utilization, complex constructions, dependency on multi stakeholders, lack of plain land in areas, rising cost of human resources, rising operational cost, data security, change in technology, and hotel basically are not driven by data. So these all areas they have identified and developed the holistic solutions to address these challenges and bring better solutions for the industry. So solution they brought in that rapid construction, efficient space utilization, integrated manufacturing, one-stop solution, and then lack of plain land in areas, that is the no more challenge anymore with Snapkorp solutions. Optimize human resource planning, so they have optimized the cost. So whatever the cost consuming elements they have already removed from the entire system. Low operation cost because they have basically housekeeping and other staff that required to operate hotels. So that is minimized. Advanced data security, where they are utilizing basically AI-driven systems and advanced technologies to operate the hotel. So that's basically improved the entire experience and exposure to the end customers. So this is some of the basically technology that they have enabled or they have developed. It's called basically engineering technology, right? And then basically move to the next slide. So how it works basically, your podium structure, these are manufactured at factory, transported to your site and installed at the location. And so what it brings, basically it brings sustainability, automated solutions, and it is going to be a revolution for the entire hotel industry. Applications where basically these structures can be applied. So the applications are, it can be residential, banking, healthcare, hospitality, any industry these structures are suitable for. And so this is the, again some of the project that Snapkorp is already executing. So this is the basic snapshot for your information. Now we'll look at some of the industry landscape in terms of market size. Now we are introducing basically a modern hotel chain, but why hotel industry? And if somebody wants to invest, so why only hotel chain, modern hotel chain that we are talking about, right? So my next slide is the industry landscape. So look at the Indian market. Like travel and tourism industry in India. I think some of these slides are slightly heavy, so it is taking time to upload the slide. So if you look at the India travel and tourism industry, we are the 7th largest in the world, right? And if you look at and if you look at the market size, is expected to grow at 16% CAGR. And but the challenges for India is again quality infrastructure. So to address these challenges, we need basically advanced solutions, such as basically that is the main core strength of Snapkorp, to bring advanced technology application and advanced systems to develop hotels. Governments are again promoting tourism in India, so they are putting emphasis developing India as a tourist nation in the world. If you look at the Indian hotel industry, it is $32 billion, and it is expected to be like $50 billion in the next 4 or 5 years. So basically, if you look at the market growth, this industry is going to double in the 4 or 5 years. So that is kind of emphasis. Basically, the industry, governments, and private and I would say public sector players are putting in this category, including your international players, independent players, and their emphasis on developing better quality hotels in India. Right, now look at the overall performance. These are some key market indicators. So if you look at the average revenue available basically per room. So in 2019, it was around 3,600 rupees, and it's going up to 5,500 rupees in 2025. Then if you look at these cities, room rates, there's nothing available below 3,000 rupees. And then it goes up to like 15,000 rupees kind of range. So Snapkorp is bringing luxury hotels plus at affordable price. So our offering for a podium light, our room rental, our room charges basically for a podium light is 2,500 rupees is the rate, and for podium luxury it's 4,500 rupees rate. So as you compare with other options available, of course Snapkorp is going to be a much more luxury, better, and at an affordable and reasonable price. So that gives us a very solid market positioning to enter in this market. Now, if you look at the revenues segment for the hotel industry, so this revenue is around $9 billion in 2023, and it is expected to be over $10 billion by 2027. So if you look at the average revenue, it's around 160, 170 US dollars that we can see here. Okay. Now, apart from the hotel industry, if you look at the accommodation industry, basically including your like PG, hostels, there's a huge demand in the market. So this application cannot not only applied on the hotels, we can also apply these structures on your developing your hotels, PG accommodations in the cities as well. Now, again, if you look at the hotel booking in India, so if you look at this number for online hotel booking, so it is in 2015, this industry was like online hotel booking was around $1 billion, and this market has already reached $4 billion. So it says basically the technology application in this field and the online booking again are going to be lead this sector. So where Snapkorp sophisticated application they have developed, it comes in very handy and very useful for the customers to book hotels anywhere from anywhere. Let's look at the proposal. So what is the proposal for our franchisee partners? So as for now, we are coming up with 2 proposals. So we are offering franchisee opportunities for Podium Light and Podium Luxury. So Podium Luxury, we are looking at a hotel of 20 rooms, plus it's going to have a associated restaurant facility, and this restaurant can be independent. And this restaurant can also be sub-franchised to some licensed operator. So franchisee partner does not need to operate the restaurant if they don't have the capability in running a restaurant or a bar. So they can basically give that option to the licensed partner, and they will get basically a royalty from licensed partners. So this can be structured anywhere. Now, if you look at the next slide, the role of the franchisee partners, of course, site selection, feasibility, that franchisee has to do. Franchisee has to do some market survey to set up the property. Plus, apart from the fully automated day-to-day operations, there are basic operations which are required to operate the hotel. That will be done by the franchisee. So they need to deploy their team. Plus, restaurant and bar facility, they can operate themselves or they can bring operator. Inventory management, yes, it is system driven. So that is support you franchisee will get from Snapkorp. So the supply of the material, it can be from the Snapkorp or through the vendors, but it is going to be a fully automated system. Yes, local marketing and local demand generation has to be done by franchisee partner. So if you look at the investment opportunity, so we have two options. One is your Podium Light. That investment is around 4 crores, and Podium Luxury investment is 6 crores, and area requirement is around 8,000 to 12,000 square feet. Inventory of 20 rooms. If you look at franchisee fees for Podium Light is 15 lakhs, and for Podium Luxury is 25 lakhs. If you look at the annual revenue that we expect, that's 3.3 crores for the Podium Light and Podium Luxury 4.4 crores. A royalty to the brand 5%, and the annual expenses that we expect around 2.2 crores for Podium Light and 2.7 for Podium Luxury. Overall, we see a break even of 36 months, basically in 3 years, franchisee makes break even, and the payback period, agreement period for this investment is going to be 10 years. So if you look at my average ROI is 42%. So over the 10 years, franchisee makes 400% of their investment. So somebody invests like 6 crores. So definitely they are going to make around 25 crores in 10 years. Now, so who can be our ideal partner profile? I think in some of the previous slides we already discussed. So these can be property owners, these can be hotel operators, these can be real estate developers, or independent property owners can also be a part of this brand. And basically partners who are associated or already involved in kind of like PG accommodation facilities business. Innovative and unit design. Yes, so each property is going to be like uniquely designed. There's no fixed product that we are going to replace everywhere. Yes, our structures are designed according to the requirement, space, and complexity of your area. So your entire planning and development will be done by Snapkorp. And the best advantage that Snapkorp brings for the franchisee partner. So they are minimizing all the cost in terms of your setup cost. If you consider how it reduces the setup cost, because in the traditional business, as I think Mr. Rehan already explained, like to construct a hotel, it takes 2 years, 3 years, or 4 years of time, but this can be done in 3 months. So your initial cost for the structure can be higher, but your day of commercial operations, your revenue generation can start in 3 months. So they are basically the huge cost optimization. Operations, because they are using AI-based systems to reduce your operations cost. Infrastructure, yes, of course, because you don't require after construction the facilities that you require, or infrastructure, or like furniture, fixtures that is required. So they are coming with a fixed infrastructure that is loaded with all facilities. Space planning optimization will be done by the Snapkorp, because that is going to give you the maximum space utilization. And of course, they are going to basically reduce the marketing cost, they have already associated with a lot of hotel booking players, and plus they are also coming up with their online sophisticated systems. So benefit in terms of project development, human resources, training, revenue management, sales, marketing support, and operations, all are fully automated, and your franchisee is going to receive all the handholding and complete support to operate the hotel. So now these are the few locations that we have selected in terms of potential market, and these are the areas where we see the potential is very high. But we are not limited to these locations. Our hotels or structures can be created anywhere across the country. So with this, I will end the presentation. Thank you very much. So now I would like to invite Sonia Chaudhary to take up the session for Q&A.
Thank you so much, Ashok. And friends, I'll request if you have any questions, do let us know. We'll also share our email and hotline number where you can reach out to us, and we'll reach out to the team of Snapkorp to also do one-to-one meeting or a discussion, which requires any kind of deeper understanding. So while it was a very elaborate presentation, friends, that we gave you, but I'll highlight some of the key points which are important to be reiterated. So Snapkorp has a full stack model. They are an integrated player with their own manufacturing, and the problem which they are trying to solve is multifold, which we saw in the presentation. But overall, when you look at a project of a hotel being built, it's a very time-consuming process. There are multiple stakeholders who are involved in the entire process, which makes the entire process very, very inconvenient and cumbersome. And so Snapkorp is addressing the problem, bringing in more efficiency within the working spaces. It's a more comparatively more scalable model. Sustainability of their structures is another point which is very important to be noted. They have modern structures and also very seasoned structures. Material which they use, I heard Nihanji talk about it, are even stronger than the steel. Gestation comparatively is low if you compare with the regular hotels to start the operations. The cost of capital is also another area which has to be highlighted. Typically, in projects like these, the gestation is long. Typically, the project also runs in few years. So the capital, the cost of capital becomes very, very high and very expensive also. So it relieves the owner to block the capital over a period of time. And very dynamic spaces, as we saw, which suits utility of the user and also convenience for the user from the usage point of view and also from the booking point of view. Overall, there are two formats which are being offered. One is a luxury format and the other is a regular podium hotel format, where the requirement is of 12,000 square feet for a luxury and about 8,000 square feet for a regular format. And the investment also increases based on the area that you would take. We're looking at overall between the two formats, a minimum outlay of almost about 4 crores for podium and 6 crores for a 12,000 square feet luxury format. But both these formats would have 20 rooms infrastructure, and these can also be extended based on the spaces which is there, and also the occupancy rate and the demand in the location. Overall, this is a 10-year contract where if I look at the payback period, the ROI which has been given is about 3 years and comparatively lower than similar, I would say, opportunities in the industry. And one thing which is important to also note, and we'll also reconfirm with Mohanji, there's no reinvestment. If you look at typical infrastructures, there is a reinvestment, every 5 years in projects like these to refurbish, which is not the case. These are very sustainable structures which are put. So I'll start with some questions, and Rehanji, anybody in the team of Snapkorp, if you can start with that. And my very first question would be, I'll take some part of unit economics. I think that area needs to be extended and explained a little bit. But if you look at the overall, opportunity or the addressable market in the space with respect to India, what is the addressable market that you see and the current demand that you see in the market? And also, maybe I'll connect another question along with it. If you look at a user, typically when they're using hotel properties, what are the other alternates which are available in the market and maybe an edge that we have over the other players in the industry?
You want to talk about it? Or should I? Yeah, so Primarily now, currently the only competition that you have in the segment that we are talking is from OYO rooms, right? Now, the problem with OYO rooms is that there's no standardization. So you really don't know what you're going to get when you go to OYO rooms. And if you look at the comments that you see when people go and stay in those rooms, in any of the OTA things, you will realize people are always complaining about the quality of rooms, right? And so that is very scary for somebody who's booked a room, but you don't know what you're going to end up in getting. So we are trying to address that problem in that category where you have standardized high quality rooms, and you know exactly what quality you're going to get before you book a room, right? That is one area. The second area that is seeing a lot of growth are in hostels, right? So there is, for example, a company called Zostel, which is doing very, very well, and they provide you 6 to 12 beds in a single room, and then the bathrooms are common bathrooms. There's no privacy per se, right? But people like the idea of going and mingling with other people. They like the experience of that. The disadvantage is that you don't have privacy and you have common bathrooms. So this product solves that problem too, where you still get the advantage of mingling with other people because that's the design that has been created. But then you have your own private bathrooms and you have your own private rooms, right? So at a very similar price point to Zostel. So this is the big advantage of what we are talking.
Also, if you look at, let's say, the spiritual tourism perspective, anybody, what they require is, because these are very, very short stays and people are largely going to have their darshans and things like that and, go. But what you see in those destinations is that there is a very less supply of good quality rooms. And all they need is just a few hours of rest and a clean shower. And so this particular product also sets into those sensibilities, which can give you that short stay experience.
Wonderful. And, I'll also like to ask, because, there are a lot of guidelines, regulations, approvals and licensing requirement which are needed in the industry. If you want to maybe throw some light on the kind of approvals or licenses which are required to put up a structure like this.
So typically these structures can pass off like any other construction if we talk about, so to speak, as conventional structures. But however, you also have an advantage of this getting passed on as a temporary structure. By that, what I mean is that we would have the advantage of putting these structure in even eco-sensitive zones. Because you are not disturbing the mother nature, we are not doing any kind of foundation work. So we are just bringing our podiums and placing it onto the land itself. So it gives us the advantage to set up hotels in the locations which you cannot set hotels through conventional systems.
Now, I'll quickly come on, the broader unit economics, while the investment has been showcased and so have been expenses broadly. But how does the unit economics for a business model like this works, which means the average typical room rate, which we are looking at, revenue per key, so to say, the average occupancy rate that we are considering, and also the lease term requirements for a partner in case the property is on lease, while we're looking at preferring partners who come with their own land and properties, but are there any specific lease requirements? So maybe something around the entire unit economics expenses, if you can share, including our occupancy rate, the revenue per key room that we are considering.
Do you need to answer or sure? Okay.
Are we discussing that, or Mr. Ashok, are you talking about the?
Yeah, I can explain.
We need not go through detailed Excel sheets, but maybe an average, a ballpark what we are considering, because this might be very detailed, and maybe we can do a separate session with people who are interested. But broadly,
so let's say if we're talking about podium, the light version, we will be looking at a room night of about 1,800 to 2,000 rupees. Now, if you look into the market dynamics today, hostel for a bed on a dorm condition could be priced around 1,200 rupees. 1,500. So whereas you are giving as a private cabin with its private toilet, we are pricing very economical tariff of about 1,800 to 2,000 rupees on the podium front. But when we're talking about podium luxury, now that's a dynamic of the location itself. So to give you an example, let us say if you are looking at a place like Mahabaleshwar, for example, or Manali, for example, because of the location dynamics, any hotel room will be priced around 7,000 to 8,000 rupees, given a certain standard to be established. But on the same logic, we will be priced somewhere around 4,500, giving you a much better experience in terms of the look and feel and the amenities what are provided.
And we have dynamic pricing built into the model. So, for example, if there's a lot of occupancy rush and season times and weekends, the pricing will automatically then be better than 4,500.
Also,
Yeah, I will add on here, ma'am. Here, basically, if you look at the occupancy, so at the occupancy in the first year, we are targeting around 60 to 65%. And second year, our occupancies are going to be like 70%. And then we are taking a basic growth rate at 4-5% standard. So that gives us a break even in 3 years.
wonderful. That's helpful. So I'll quickly take 2-3 questions which I want to take and which have not been covered. And before I move on to that, one thing which I also saw, a term for a partner is about 10 odd years for the relationship. And what happens after the tenure of 10 years gets over?
So we can extend it, we can renegotiate and extend that period. We also would like them to be part of us for as long as possible. So yeah, that can be spoken about in negotiation.
All right, Nancy. I'll take a question from Mr. Satish Singh. He says, I have my own land and a plot in the main city, which is a tourist spot in Gorakhpur. I'm looking for a developer or hotel management company which can be built and operated. I think perhaps his question is, if he has a property and investment, is there an opportunity for a franchisee-owned company operated structure too?
Only the operations or including the
Only the operations.
Yeah, currently we don't do only operations. If it involves setting up our hotel, and then we could provide the opportunity for operating separately.
And I have a question from Mr. Jerry on typical height of each pod in the two formats.
It's about 9 feet.
The ceiling height inside internal is 9 feet.
The finished floor to ceiling height is 9 feet, which is a typical height in any 5-star.
And Vanchi, which are the typical markets, if I say, while all the locations that we categorized are being considered and pan-India is the play, but are there any priority markets, important markets that you want to be in the very first phase as we go?
No, not as such. I mean, we have urban circuits, which will do very well. Then there are other tourism circuits like your
locations like even Goa, Mahabaleshwar,
Yeah,
like you mentioned, hill stations, that could be great.
stations,
Religious spots, Shirdi.
Yeah, there's no limit, because what we're noticing now, Sonia, is that after COVID, there's been a huge shift in the way people are traveling. There's a huge
Traveling and how they're consuming experiences has also changed dynamically.
Yes, and internal tourism has grown multiple fold after COVID, right? So inside India, there's a lot of tourism now that is happening, and if you actually try to experience it, try to book hotel rooms in popular places, very difficult to get hotel rooms that easily anymore, right? So that shows you that there's a lot of internal movement that's happening, and that's the growth.
So wonderful, friends. And if you want more information, like I mentioned, we have a detailed working on the financials that we have done. Anybody who wants to go through that, do let us know. We have our partners, Mr. Balaji and Mr. Manoj, who are leading the project. And I will also request them to share their coordinates in the chat box, which can go to every investor who's joined and also hearing us live on YouTube. And before we close, I'll also request the team of Snapkorp for their final comments. Maybe Rohanji, for you to start with, and Inaksh to follow. Anybody who can take the lead.
Yeah, see, what we want to establish here is to democratize the vacations and offer a standardized, good quality experience to a guest. Now, that can only happen if there are systems and SOPs which are in place, right from the construction till the end experience. And to the franchisee, we have developed systems where it will give an easy mode of operation and also avoid any kind of pilferages to the system by way of technology.
Wonderful, helpful. Friends, I'll take one last question. This is from one of our partners in Bombay. He's asking on the typical, while it is very dynamic space that you had shown in some of the pictures, these are all single occupancy, double occupancy, or we have a mix of both was the question. And also when we talk about the rooms, the costing, is that a single occupancy cost or that's a double occupancy cost?
Yeah, this is a double occupancy cost. And yes, we can build into the model. We've already got that in the model, but these are site dependent. Whether you want to charge a little bit extra for the second bed or not, these are depending on the site. You can decide whether you want to do that or not. But these are typically double occupancy costs.
All right. Helpful. So thank you so much, everyone, for being with us. And I also thank you, Rehan, for being with us on the webinar today. Manishi and Ilakshi for coming on this webinar. Friends, I'll request you all to reach out to us and also to our advisors, our lead consultants who are leading the entire project. We have left our information in the chat box for you to reach out to us. And before I close, I'll request also Balaji and Manojji to give a quick hello to all the viewers who are listening. Before I request Harshika to kindly take over.
So, all right, this is such an innovation, and it's like absolutely an interesting product, absolutely a interesting product really, and yeah, that's it. So more and more people should opt for this and be part of such a spawning hotel industry. So great presentation. And great product indeed, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, good afternoon team, Balaji from Bangalore. Definitely it's a disruptive product. It's going to change the way people look at the hotel industry. And having a little bit of background, I'm really happy to be associated and working on this product. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Harshika, over to you, please.
Thank you so much, Sonia ma'am. Thank you so much, team Snapkorp and Ashok sir and our IFC partner, Mr. Manojji and Balaji, for this wonderful discussion and detailed presentation about the brand Snapkorp. Friends, for more details about the brand and to connect with the team of Snapkorp, you can reach us on our hotline number 9717683838. Also, you can write us on feedback@franchiseindia.in. Today, Franchise India is running this evening series Bharat Franchise Show. So, exclusive F&B brands we have invited today, brands like High-End Churros, South Summit, Kasi Kulcha, Conical Grofers. For more details about these brands, you can do your registration link shared over the chat box. Also, for more details about, you can reach us on our hotline number 9717683838. Tomorrow again, Franchise India bringing a great brand come from the region of Punjab, aspiring bankers, recruiting talent and training brand for a bank. For more details about this brand, you can reach us on our hotline number, or for the registration, reach us on our hotline number. Don't forget, Franchise India again brings its great iconic show on Pragati Maidan, 15-16 July. Save the dates. For more details about this event, you can reach us on our hotline number. Thank you everyone for joining today's webinar.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.